After 40 years of wandering through the desert because of their disobedience, the Israelites eventually settled in the Promised Land. Yet even here they were not obedient. They didn't keep the law that God had given them. At first they were ruled over by a series of judges who sought to continually bring them back to God. However, eventually the people asked for a king to rule them, so that they could be like the surrounding nations. The first king chosen was Saul, yet he swiftly proved himself to be unworthy of the role, so a new king was needed, as we will hear in 1 Samuel chapter 16.
Yahweh said to Samuel, "How long will you mourn for Saul, since I have rejected him from being king over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and go. I will send to you Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided a king for myself among his sons." Samuel said, "How can I go? If Saul hears it, he will kill me." Yahweh said, "Take a heifer with you, and say, 'I have come to sacrifice to Yahweh.' Call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you shall do. You shall anoint to me whom I name to you." Samuel did that which Yahweh spoke, and came to Bethlehem. The elders of the city came to meet him trembling, and said, "Do you come peaceably?" He said, "Peaceably. I have come to sacrifice to Yahweh. Sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the sacrifice." He sanctified Jesse and his sons, and called them to the sacrifice. It happened, when they had come, that he looked at Eliab, and said, "Surely Yahweh's anointed is before him." But Yahweh said to Samuel, "Don't look on his face, or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For I see not as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but Yahweh looks at the heart." Then Jesse called Aminadab, and made a pass before Samuel. He said, "Neither has Yahweh chosen this one." Then Jesse made Shammah to pass by. He said, "Neither has Yahweh chosen this one." Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. Samuel said to Jesse, "Yahweh has not chosen these." Samuel said to Jesse, "Are all your children here?" He said, "There remains yet the youngest, and behold, he is keeping the sheep." Samuel said to Jesse, "Send and get him, for we will not sit down until he comes here." He sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful face, and goodly to look on. Yahweh said, "Arise, anoint him, for this is he." Then Samuel took the horn of oil, and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And the Spirit of Yahweh came mightily on David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to...
Saul had been tall and impressive, yet those were not the characteristics that mattered to God. God is much more concerned about a person's character than their appearance. From Samuel's perspective, any of David's brothers would have been a better choice for the role of king. And Jesse, his father, considered David so unimportant that he left him in the field while his brothers gathered before Samuel. But God had an entirely different standard in mind. He wanted a king after his own heart, a king who would be obedient to him. For us too, that should be our constant desire, that we should live a life of obedience to God, and that when he looks at our heart, there is nothing there that he finds displeasing. Now, being anointed king did not mean that David was yet able to rule the land. Saul still occupied the throne, and it would be years before David ascended to the throne. During that time, David would face many challenges, and his life would be in countless dangers. Yet through it all, David would learn to trust God and to rely on him to meet his needs. And that is an example that we should follow.